Hi guys, welcome back to Restoration Design. My name's Adam, and today we're going to be continuing to work on our 1972 ST. We did mention the ST in a previous video, so this is basically just an update. We're not actually going to be doing too much work to the car. I'm just going to give you the down low on the things that we've done today, such as leveling the Celette bench and taking care of getting some of the panels on so we can try and get our openings for our doors and windows fitted properly. All right, I'd like to show you one of the new exciting things that we have here, our new car bench. The car bench came to us not too long ago, so this is new to us. The first thing that I did with the car bench is I got the car onto it with all the mounts in place. Some of the mounts actually don't quite line up properly, so some of the car actually does have to be pulled and pushed a little bit to straighten the rear end out. The rest of it mounted up great. I was really impressed with that. We moved on to putting the car in place over here, and then I made some custom legs down here that have bolts on the bottom of it so that I could adjust the car and make the car bench completely perfectly level on the floor. What this does is this allows me to use a laser level to help me with my zero plane on the car. All right, this ST here came to us in pretty rough condition. If you remember from our previous videos with Al, he was talking about this car. It had very little metal on it when it came to us. The gentleman that had it before us took way too much off the car. I've mentioned it in videos before actually, that when you're replacing parts on the car, not to take too much metal off at one time, especially if the car is still straight. This one wasn't quite straight, clearly because of the back mounts don't mount up properly. Like I mentioned a little while ago, we have to take the rear end and stretch it out and figure out what's going on there. But in the meantime, we're taking care of the front end and the door placement. So I've taken the time and I've put all of the panels on the front here. This side has already been done. It's on the zero plane, it's nice, it's level, all the measurements work out. The other side, I'm still working on it. It's being a little bit more fussy. I think the rail that was installed on the other side there is a little bit forward. We might have to cut it back off and adjust it back. Some of the work's been done already. A lot of the bracing that's in the car is kind of shoddy, so we're gonna be redoing all the bracing, but we're gonna work from the bottom up. So I've got most of the car flat now, and I've got panels on. Once we get our door towers on, then I can move on to mounting the doors to make sure that our door frames are proper. Once I get the doors mounted on, we can move on to taking care of the rockers and other essential parts in the front end. We're on our way around to the other side of the car, so I thought I'd just stop and show you the level that we use to level the bench. It's an old school machining level. There's many different types you can get. They've got new electronic ones, which we do have here, but the one in particular that I used on this bench was the old school machining level with the bubble in it. All right, this is the work in progress right now. This side here has just been clamped on. I got bottle jacks holding this up here, and I got another bottle jack holding that up there. We've got our mount here for the car bench that mounts up into the suspension housing here. I got a little jig here for everybody that's doing this stuff on their own. This is one of four. There's 4 total. Very simple jig that I made out of angle iron that allows you to bolt this to the bench in various places. And what I've done is the upright here, I've clamped a piece of steel on for now, but this top of the steel marks the zero for the car. So when I come over here, I've got my zero here. Now, if you're curious to how I found the zero plane, down underneath the car here, we've got our bearing bolt at the front, and there's suspension bolts at the very front. So the very front suspension bolt has a measurement of, don't quote me on this because I'm going by memory, 3 15/16 of an inch. So what I did is I took my laser and I hit the laser at the measuring point on that and marked it on here. Once I had that, that gave me my measurement for the front bolt. Then I could measure up from there to the zero plane, which the measurement was 3 15/16. So I measured up and I moved my piece up, and there I have my zero plane. To check my zero plane, I went to the back of the car. Right here is where the axle of the car goes through. There's a big round donut hole there. You probably know about it because you had to pull the axle out in order to be able to do this kind of extensive work on the car. So the center of the axle housing up has a measurement to the zero plane as well. So I used that with the laser to double check to make sure my zero plane was correct. Once we had taken care of double checking all of our measurements for the zero, we went ahead and did some measurements as far as where some of the windows and that were supposed to be. On this side of the car, you get a really good idea of how little steel was on the car when we got it. So this kind of a project can't even be done without a proper car bench. So you can see a little jig here that I've got made up. This actually here is helping me with my zero. This runs right across the laser line, and I was able to take a level and run a level out so I could check my measurements of my suspension. My mounts are off by about 1/4 of an inch at the back. The one side is a little bit more than the other side, so one side's got to be pulled out more than the other side when the time comes. We're not touching the rear end of the car yet until I get everything at the front end bolted on so that we can get doors in place. Okay, I got my laser level here set up. Gives me my vertical and my horizontal zero on the front end of the car here. So this laser being projected on here allows me to adjust this panel with actually quite ease because I can just measure from the laser out to my specific points. On our website, we have all of our drawings that we use. Most of them are posted. You can go to our website, and the measurements from this very front hole that mounts the fender on down is 8 5/16 of an inch to the zero. So the laser projected across here allowed me to measure down to that. Also, the vertical laser allowed me to measure from here to that front point. Using this is something that not everybody does. Some of the shops have much more expensive equipment. There's trem bars, digital trem bars. Some of them get very costly. Hopefully we'll have some here very, very soon. With the availability of the laser, most of our measurements work out, all except for front to back. It's showing us that this panel here is sitting a little bit forward. So that shows me that this rail that was installed before is more than likely not in the right spot. So we have to remove this rail and move it back. So be sure to check that out in upcoming videos. We're going to get into this into quite a bit of depth, and everybody's going to get a real good look at the inside workings of an ST. Thanks for joining us here at Restoration Design. If you have any questions or comments on our ST, please comment below and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. See you next time.